Hi, everyone. Welcome to the information session that is being recorded from Counselor Education at The Ohio State University relative to our PhD program. So I am going to run through this PowerPoint and kind of talk about each of the slides in order to share information with you so that you can decide whether or not our program would be a good match for you relative to your professional goals and professional goals in life, I guess. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out now how to clear the screen so that you can see it more clearly. So here is the general URL for our program, and this information is some of it is on the website and some of it is not, and some of it is just kind of talking with you about what the reality is of the program and the experiences that our students are having in our program. I'm Dr. Colette Dollarhide. I'm a full professor and program chair for the program. My email is dollarhide.1@osu.edu. And so at the end of this presentation, if you have questions or would like to email, that would be fine. We typically don't have the ability to make individual appointments with people because of just simply so many applicants. So it's not likely that we'll be emailing is the best way to communicate. So who are we? We are consistently among the top 5 in the US News and World Report national rankings. Currently, we are at number 4. And this is because we are a very well-established program, one of the first in the country. We were started in 1963. And as a result, we have developed a reputation for excellence for our students. Many of our PhD graduates are faculty in programs around the country. So once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye. So we have 2 master's degrees as well as a PhD in counselor education. We are fully accredited by CACREP, which, as you probably already know, is the Council for the Accreditation of Counseling and Related Educational Programs. And it is our national accreditation for the counseling profession. I'm trying to get us to move forward. There we go. The faculty, it's kind of hard to know where to put this. There we go, so that we can see the content on the screen. All of the faculty are involved with national service and national leadership. I've been the president of 2 national associations. I've been an editor of a national journal. We also have on our faculty the co-founder of the Evidence-Based School Counseling Conference. We have a number of editors of professional journals. We have large grants. The Campus Suicide Prevention Program, which is the largest in the country. And all of us have awards for teaching, research, and service. The names of our faculty, I've already introduced myself, Dr. Darcy Hogg-Granello, Dr. Paul Granello, Dr. Capria Johnson, Dr. Tanya Middleton, Dr. James Moore, who is the Vice Provost for Diversity and Inclusion for The Ohio State University, and then Dr. Brett Zaromsky. And in terms of our research interests, now I'm sharing this with you, not to say that you have to study one of these in your dissertation, because it is our job to see that if you're studying with us as a PhD colleague, you're not forced to research our research agendas. So please do not take this list as this is, the only things you can study. If, however, you are interested in some of these issues, you might find working with one of us to be very exciting. Professional identity, social justice, and supervision, suicide prevention, wellness and biofeedback smart labs, social determinants of health, addictions, diversifying the counseling profession and decolonizing the profession, ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and protective factors for children, and evidence-based school counseling practice. So those are just a sampler of all of the different things that we are involved with. But throughout it all, it is really important to know that we believe it to be our mission to train leaders and to train all of our master's and PhD colleagues with the very important view about social justice, about how systems in our society, education, business, mental health, manufacturing, you name it. All of these systems were built by white, male-dominated values, and we think it's really important that it's time for us to question those and to work to disrupt those systemic forces that create such deep oppression and inequities in our society. So leadership and social justice are responsibilities that we believe need to be infused in every class, in every program in our in Counselor Ed. So in the PhD program, I have seen a couple of individuals come in, coursework in 2 years, dissertation year 3, graduate 3 years. I've seen it done. Most people, however, do take about 4 years in order to spread that out so that it's not so intense. And that is working for folks, but 3 to 5 years is kind of the average range. It is designed for full-time with individuals with GAs. We'll talk about that in a minute. It is important to recognize that we believe that we're training future counselor educators or counselor leaders. So, the leader of school counseling for a school district, the leader of a counseling clinic. Many of our PhD graduates who do not go into the professorate do go into the field and are leaders in the field in that regard. So our curriculum is designed very intentionally for research, leadership, teaching, and service. So those are our emphasis areas. We are not designed as a program for advanced clinical practice. And I want to reemphasize that. We are not designed as a program for advanced clinical practice. People have been able to kind of design that with their advisor, but that's not our primary focus. And when you see leadership, research, teaching, and service as our emphasis areas, then I hope that will come across in terms of congruence in the way that we view the PhD program. So the curriculum, what will you be studying? Well, we have our Counselor Ed courses. You will design with your advisor a Cognate, which is a cluster of courses at the graduate level that will be your research focus. What do you want to research? And the Cognate is designed to deepen your understanding of what you're researching. You'll take courses in methodology and research, of course, qualitative and quantitative. And then there are internships that you'll engage in counseling, teaching, research, and supervision. And we very much rely on our doc colleagues to help us to teach and to help us to supervise our master's level folks. And then, of course, the ever fun dissertation. There are also a series of non-academic requirements. These have to do with leadership, social justice, professional identity and service, research team involvement, scholarly publications, and these just need to be submitted. They don't need to be accepted or published, scholarly presentations, and then pedagogy that you will get through co-teaching with faculty. These non-academic requirements are all documented, and you document what you're doing. We get you engaged with research teams. We encourage your involvement with social justice. Through the research teams, you're conducting your own research or supporting research of others and learning how to write, learning how to present, and then you're co-teaching with us. So it's all, there are no assumptions about what you know and don't know. That's what you're gaining in the program. And that's why you need that master's degree in counseling. And we hope some experience in counseling, or that you're going to be getting that experience concurrent with your doctoral study in order to inform these non-academic requirements and inform your progress toward your dissertation. So the logistics, if you will, our classes in Counselor Ed are 3-hour blocks, 4 to 7 or 7 to 10, and they're Monday through Thursday. But when you're taking your research classes, your Cognate classes, those classes we don't control the scheduling for, and they're offered at various times during the day, some in the summer, some in the evening, some might be online, etc. You and your advisor will work every semester. You'll meet with your advisor to talk about what you're planning to take next semester, so that it's all mapped out and all well discussed in advance, so that it's exactly what you need it to be for your journey. And then you transfer in 30 credits from your master's program. Most students do get graduate associateships in the College of Education and Human Ecology itself, or somewhere in the university. We will provide information about those opportunities as we hear them, and we put them on a listserv, so that it's Counts Docs listserv, so that it is specific to doc students. If you have an individual interest and a passion for international students or students with disabilities, that kind, definitely those kinds of topics, definitely contact those offices and see whether or not they have GA positions that might be available. We do have some of our students who are, funding their program through loans, as well as students who are funding their program by working. That definitely would be something for, there's no assumption that you have to be full-time, okay? We will work with you to help you define what that will look like. So how do you get in? How do you do that? There is a December 1st deadline. That deadline is very firm. Let me repeat that. The deadline is December 1. We only admit one time a year, and the deadline is December 1. That is the deadline for your application and for your materials, your transcripts, hopefully your letters of recommendation, all of the documents that you need to submit, December 1. It's all only online. We don't administer that. We don't coordinate that. We don't deal with that. If you have questions about that, the URL email to email is listed on our webpage, because we don't administer the logistics of how those documents are uploaded. After December 1, we have access to those documents, but we don't manage them, touch them, we don't deal with them. The GRE is not required, but a master's degree from an accredited counselor education program is required, and your undergrad and grad GPA must be over a 3.0. The grad school is the academic unit that admits you. We do not admit you. We recommend you for admission, and then the grad school actually admits you. So it's important to recognize that some of this is not our criteria. The 3.0 GPA, that's not us, that's the grad school. You will put together a letter of intent, and what I would encourage you to do is write that letter of intent with a focus on your past, your present, and your future that comes together to create the dream that you have for why you're getting your PhD. We need to know, why are you getting your PhD? And then, of course, letters of recommendation from employers, faculty, etc., not your family. We definitely would encourage you to, that needs to be a professional reference, not a personal one. The application is available only online, and I'm going to speak very slowly so you have time to write this down or do whatever, take a picture or do whatever you need to do to find, because you go to EHE.OSU.EDU, you go into the academics tab, you look at and click on counseling and psychological sciences, click on counselor ed, and then at the bottom of the PhD page is the link for making the application. As well as if you have any problems, then who do you contact? So EHE.OSU.EDU, go to the academics tab, then go to the counseling and psychological sciences tab, click on there, then go to counselor education, click on that, and then you click on the PhD page and it's at the very bottom. It will open in August and it will close in December on the 1st. Okay, so the fall semester is when you'll want to be uploading all of the documents and this kind of thing. We get the access to the folders in the middle of December, which of course is right when we are doing finals, doing holiday. And so in January, we try to get to them as quickly as possible in order to identify the individuals we'd like to invite for an interview. It is a group interview experience. Then based on those conversations, there is a recommendation that we make to the grad school on behalf of the people we'd like to invite. Then there is, an admissions invitation. And if you decide to decline that invitation, we ask you to let us know, just in case there is a waiting list situation. And then the orientation is online in the summer. And then you and your advisor will connect in order to work on what you'll be taking each semester. So you and your advisor will work very closely together, and that hopefully that process will culminate in graduation for you with your PhD. So as I mentioned, my email is dollarhide.1@osu.edu. We are not on contract during the summer. So in August, I will be returning to campus and be able to communicate if you have questions. There is no way to meet with each person individually. So please feel free to send your questions via email. If you get a chance to visit the campus, that would be wonderful, because it does certainly help. The picture of the building is behind me, but the university is a ginormous place, and it is just such a wonderful place. Columbus is a wonderful community with lots of things to do, lots of social activities, lots of art, world-class zoo, world-class museums. It's just an amazing community. So if you get a chance to visit, I think it would really help you to decide whether or not Ohio State is for you. So I wish you, however you decide to move forward with your professional goals, I wish you the best of all possible experiences in your journey, and I hope that you're well. So thank you for being here.